Okay, welcome. Tonight on a very special episode of episodes, I'm Jango and he's Razor.
I am Razor, this is true.
We're going to do something we've never done before on this episode of episodes. This season of episodes actually. We're gonna watch The Mandalorian. This is the first time we're watching a non-MCU product. Is that right, Razor?
I think so. I believe so.
Okay. Do you like this show?
Yeah, I like The Mandalorian. The Mandalorian is kind of the only Star Wars I like. If you people who are regular in our Discord may have heard me say that I believe there are only 3 Star Wars movies. Like, I don't like the prequels even, but
Uh,
I it's a little more nuanced than that. Like, I really like the Clone Wars TV show, and I thought Rebels was alright.
Yep.
I sort of feel like the prequel movies are the filler, and Clone Wars should have been the movies, you know?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, there's good stuff in the prequel movies, but
I mean, particularly in, like, the third one, yeah, but I don't know.
I mean,
I feel
I
like
go ahead.
I feel like the best character stuff, especially for Anakin, was mostly in the show. Because there's a
Um,
little there's more time to have the nuance and the gradual turn to the dark side, as opposed to him just kind of being a whiny little shit in the films.
yeah, and this might be a horribly unpopular opinion or something. I don't know. I hope I don't get any flack for this, but I think the actor for Anakin in the shows is better than Hayden
Yeah,
Christensen's acting.
yeah, no, Matt Lanter is the voice actor in the show's name, and
Okay.
yeah, I actually do think he's better than Hayden too.
Yeah, especially
Well,
him
Hayden,
plus the animators. Like, he's
so
he does good stuff.
Hayden was always trying to do like a weird accent in the movies, and he doesn't have it in the Clone Wars show.
I've always wondered if he was trying to like sort of emulate the James Earl Jones effect thing.
I got more the impression that he was trying to sound like an old timey medieval fantasy character. It was a very like stage play bad British, you know?
It was. No, it definitely was. It was bad. Whatever it was bad. Definitely.
Yeah, whatever he was doing,
Yeah.
I don't know.
You underestimate my power. I mean, it's better. It was better on Obi-Wan, the show. Did you watch Obi-Wan?
Yeah, I saw Obi-Wan. I thought Obi-Wan had some problems. It was the plot of a movie dragged out into like 6 episodes, and they
Sure,
spent
yeah.
way too much time on that Inquisitor lady, and I don't think Obi-Wan meeting little kid Leia fits into A New Hope.
No. I I really did like that lady
But
character.
I did appreciate seeing, Hayden in the Vader suit a little bit, and they got to have a lightsaber fight, and it's not. I wouldn't necessarily want it to be like canon story because it doesn't super make sense, but it was just kind of as a fun little action set piece thing. There were some parts I enjoyed.
Um, I think the flashback was pretty good because then we got to see Anakin doing actually Anakin again.
Yeah, the training bit
Yeah,
when he was still a Padawan.
and that was alright. Even though Hayden looked older than Ewan McGregor.
Yeah, there's some iffy moments with the de-aging in these shows.
Yeah. But they're doing what they can, I guess.
They're doing their best.
Did you like Andor?
I have not watched Andor.
You have not watched Andor.
I have heard it's really good, but Andor is about the parts of the Star Wars universe I find the most boring.
Um,
I really,
yeah,
I just like Jedi, man. I just want to see lightsabers and
yeah. I can get on board with that.
telekinesis and I like the Mandalorians because they've got, all their like warrior culture lore, and it's sort of like one of my favorite parts of Star Trek is the Klingons. So there's some stuff. I've never liked the Rebels and the Empire politics parts of the Star Wars universe. I'm just not that into it.
Will say that Andor surprised me, especially like after going into it, and even after watching the first episode, I was like, "This, I don't know about this. I don't know."
Yeah.
But it's one of those things where like if you stick with it, it does get good and dramatic and interesting.
Yeah, I mean, I have heard that. Like everybody who's watched it says it's really good, and like it's
slow and dry.
it's just not for me. That's the thing.
That's fair. The Mandalorian though is the best in my opinion though, as far
Yeah.
as like the shows go and everything like that. Even better than whatever else. How big of a Star Wars fan would you say you are in general?
So growing up, I was definitely like more of a Star Trek fan. Like I was more of the like to the intellectual side of science fiction. But as a kid, I would still like crawl into a tight space like my closet and pretend it's the cockpit of the Millennium Falcon and I'm Han Solo.
Sure.
There's an appeal to Star Wars that you can't really deny. The action and the adventure stuff, and
There definitely is. You would probably be better at this though than I would. What happened in the first two seasons? Because we're starting with episode or season 30 of The Mandalorian here.
right. So season one, and it starts out very sort of like episodic, very just sort of the adventures of a random ass bounty hunter in the Star Wars universe. But right away, like he finds a baby Yoda, and he's supposed to, return it to these like remnants of the Empire guys who hired him to get it, and he does it, and then he feels real guilty about it because it's a little child. He doesn't know what they're gonna do with it, so he's like, "Fuck it," and steals the baby back.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yep.
and then he ends up fighting Moff Giancarlo Esposito,
Yep.
who for some reason has the dark saber.
For some reason, right? We never got that.
Yeah, I think. Well, they explained it in season 2 that he was the guy who was in charge of the Empire, like going to war with Mandalore, and that he like beat Bo-Katan in a fight and took it from her or something like that.
Yeah, he would have had to.
Because she was the one who's in charge of Mandalore after the Clone Wars show.
Yeah, she had that thing. Darth Maul had it for a while, right?
Yeah, like it was it went through the Rebels show, like fucking Sabine had it for a bit. And I think she gave it back to Bo-Katan. I don't remember exactly.
Okay. I don't either.
But
I haven't watched Clone Wars or Rebels, but I've seen some of the highlights. I've seen a lot of the highlights. I should watch them in entirety. I probably will at some point.
Yeah, I haven't necessarily followed the timeline of who had the Darksaber win.
You're right.
but in season 2, fucking Moff Gideon wanted the baby Yoda to clone its DNA to make probably Snoke is where this is leading.
Yeah.
But yeah, they got the baby back, and they defeated Gideon, and he was like, I guess, arrested by the New Republic or something like that.
Something apparently.
And then in Book of Boba Fett, well, so at the end of season 2, Luke Skywalker had showed up to answer their distress signal.
That's right.
Yeah. Because our main character Din Djarin, the Mandalorian, had been looking for Jedi to give Baby Yoda off to, because Baby Yoda is a little baby Jedi, like a youngling from the
Purge.
And he tried to pawn the baby off on Ahsoka, and Ahsoka was like, I can't take it. And then Luke Skywalker showed up.
Yeah.
And so Baby Yoda, whose real name is Grogu, was training with Luke Skywalker. We saw him on the new Jedi planet that is also seen destroyed in the sequel trilogy.
Right.
But it hasn't been destroyed yet. Grogu is like Luke's first student, and Grogu misses Daddy Mando too much and decides to leave training and go back to the Mandalorians. And he does that in, Book of Boba Fett, so that when season 3 starts, Grogu and Mando are already back together.
That was always a strange thing they did there. They really advanced the plot of Mandalorian.
Yeah, they got too impatient to reunite them. There are some people I have seen complain about the fact that you have to watch Book of Boba Fett to get caught up on Mando. I didn't think that was a problem because Book of Boba Fett is a spin-off of Mando to begin with.
Yeah.
But I can understand it because Book of Boba Fett, other than the Mando episodes, wasn't that great a show. It was a real slow burn for no good reason.
The Boba Fett episode in Mandalorian.
No, when Boba showed up in Mando season 2 was really good. It was a very actiony episode, and he did a bunch of cool stuff.
I wish they would.
And then his own show is like just really slow and meandering.
It is. He talks and sits on his chair a lot.
Yeah, he spends a lot of time sleeping in a bacta-tank in that show. He
does. Yeah, I forgot about that. All the flashbacks.
Most of the show is flashbacks while he's taking a nap.
It really is. That was kind of crazy. Especially since that was the showrunner was Robert Rodriguez or some shit.
Yeah, the showrunner of Book of Boba Fett was Rodriguez.
You'd think, yeah.
And he's he has directed episodes of Mando that are good episodes. I don't know what happened.
But I mean, overall, it was still all right. I thought the Book of Boba Fett.
I mean, I didn't. It's not the worst thing I've seen.
No. But it wasn't
it's as if on the scale of even just Disney Star Wars, it's middle of the road. It's not the 3 movies are probably at the bottom. Rogue One a little above that. Yeah. Obi-Wan is somewhere in there, and then Book of Boba in the middle, and I would say Rebels above that. And then Mando on the top. And I
Disney Star Wars ranked.
Solo might be in the top half somewhere. I kind of liked it.
I never watched Solo.
It was dumb and pointless, but I kind of liked it. I just could really have used without the bit at the beginning where they explain why his last name is Solo. That was so stupid.
That sounds really stupid.
The rest of the movie was fine.
I haven't seen the movie, so I would never have even thought of there needing to be an explanation for someone's name like that.
No, there's not. It's just his last name. It doesn't need to be a dumb gag. He gets on a ship and it's oh, you're alone? You're solo? Alright.
Yeah, that doesn't say much for the rest of the movie if it starts out like that.
No, it's very I always compare it obviously one of the problems when George Lucas was in charge was the tendency to keep having things conveniently connected to one another and explained in contrived ways. And I'm always reminded of my favorite Indiana Jones movie is the third one, Last Crusade, but the opening of Last Crusade is this sequence of when it's a flashback to when Indy's a teenager. And in this one sequence alone, we learn where he got the whip and the hat and a famous scar Harrison Ford has on his chin and his fear of snakes and the phrase "it belongs in a museum." Every single character trait he got in a single afternoon. Sir, and it's so dumb.
Sir, this is iconic filmmaking you're talking about here. This is Indiana Jones. What are you saying?
Writers out there, please don't do that. Fucking stop it.
I can't disagree. So yeah, we're gonna start with the third season here. If you don't like it, get over it. Are you ready to begin this thing?
I mean, these reviews are probably a little more effective if we put them out close to when the thing we're watching came out, right?
I mean, historically speaking, this is probably pretty close compared to how we used to do it.
Yes.
Because I would always get them up so late.
Wait until the entire Marvel show is over to upload our reviews of the first 2 episodes.
I'm trying to do this a little bit. I'm trying here. I'm trying to get stuff. I think I've got stuff to where we can do them a little faster in the future, maybe. But I always say that. I shouldn't say that. So
yeah, well, we'll see.
we'll see. We'll see. We'll see. Let's start this thing.
Okay.
Boom. Okay.
You know, these previously ons always show scenes that will be relevant to the current episode.
Of course.
But if you haven't watched the show before, since they're all taken out of context, they don't really explain anything. Like, there's no way you can get actually caught up by watching a previously on.
Well, shit. Now I'm screwed. That was cool seeing that.
Yeah, the bombing of Mandalore.
No, that's what we're here to do. If you haven't seen it, which you should not be watching this if you haven't seen it, but if you haven't seen it, you heard Razor's recap. It was brilliant.
Well,
It's gonna
look,
be good to go.
the Empire, like, fucking glassed that planet, man. The Mandalorian homeworld is straight fucked.
But is it as fucked as they think it is?
No, we're going to find out it's a little less fucked than they think it is.
Oh, this was already set up. I didn't know that. That she has
the bit
a
about
water
the water?
tester? Yeah. I forgot that she already had a water tester.
Right. Something about the Mandalorian water, it makes funny colors.
Special. Because this is the way. I had no idea this was going to be a helmet.
Well, that's the neat thing about forging things out of metal. Yeah. They don't look anything like the finished product when you're started. Like, you can have a bar of steel, and then at the end you have a whole ass sword.
Whole ass sword. Just making all these Magneto helmets. Except for that. Oh, wait, that's the... Okay. I'm still picking stuff up. That's the side thing, okay.
Yeah, that's the earpiece.
Yeah. Now, did you think this was gonna be young Din Djarin here? They're doing?
Well, she painted the helmet blue, so I assumed this was not a flashback.
I was like 50-50. My wife thought it was a flashback.
So here's what I wonder is they're not allowed to take the helmet off in front of other people. So how do they get haircuts? Because this kid has pretty long hair. Do they just have to like butcher themselves? Like everybody has to learn to cut their own hair alone in a room with a mirror?
Exactly the case, yeah. You eat, shave, and cut your hair all by yourself.
I'm just saying, you couldn't have given the kid a haircut before you put the helmet on? He's got to live with it for a while.
She's no hairdresser, dude. She's the fucking armorer. Unless that's her hair hanging out the back there.
Yeah, I think that's just her furry collar.
I think you're right. Maybe. This guy is pissed about everything all the time.
Well, you know, under that armor, it's Jon Favreau, right?
No, it's his voice. Did he actually do the acting?
I don't know if he does the Because that character has to do stunts fairly often. I bet it's not
Yeah.
always him.
Well, no, it definitely couldn't always be him. Just like it's not always,
Well, yeah,
Pedro
it's
Pascal.
stuntman. Sometimes it's a stuntman, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. But
yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I don't know if it's ever him, other than the voice. I assume, just for a little authenticity's sake, that sometimes Favreau really is wearing the armor on set.
I hope so. That helmet looks really Power Ranger-y.
Well, I like Power Rangers, so I'm good with that.
I don't hate the Power Rangers. I did hear that a lot of these were like cosplayer extras who brought their own armor and stuff.
Yeah, yeah, I heard that they for all the background guys, they
Yeah.
would go, like they went to a con or something and they got a bunch of people who had made their own armors because that's faster.
Why? Yeah. Why not? Some of these color schemes are questionable.
But I gotta tell you, so on the day we're recording this, episode 4 is already out,
Yes.
and there's a real theme. Like every episode this season so far, these Mandalorians have been on this beach and just attacked by a wild animal. Every
What happened
episode.
again? I haven't seen it yet. Don't spoil it.
All right, well, it's a real theme. The wild animal attacks keep happening,
All right, that's fair. Jesus.
and it just like maybe find a different beach.
Yeah, find different beach, or have like I don't know, like a better protocol in place. Okay, there's another dinosaur on the beach again. We know how to do this. We've done it before. Like roll out a big Mandalorian gun. Just keep it ready. The CG is
Yeah,
really good.
maybe some turrets.
Yeah, yeah.
Like they've got to have a ship. How did they get here without a ship?
And it's a good question. And maybe don't have the like newbie baptism here. Because, you might get eaten when you're
Yeah,
trying
yeah.
to become a
He was
Mandalorian.
the little kid was standing closest to the water. That's probably.
Yeah. If you want to make more Mandalorians.
But can you really say that you're a warrior if you're scared of these wild animal attacks? Like
No, I
maybe
mean,
maybe that's part of the thing.
maybe. Well, I mean, sure
Like
you're not scared of it, but you could
it's
still
like
die from it, even if you're not
I
scared of
I
it.
want the giant alligator so that I can prove how tough I am. Fucking come at me, bro.
There's like a menu of initiation options. I want the gator. That's what I want.
So you know how the end credits of every episode has concept art, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Well, at the end of this episode, we're going to see the concept art. This alligator was originally going to look more like a turtle, and I wish they had done the turtle. I think the turtle would have been a little more interesting.
What's that?
I like turtles.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, a turtle's not as vicious though.
Well, like a snapping turtle, they bite pretty good.
Right. I mean, it could have worked. I wonder why they
You,
changed it.
you see, the solution to the giant alligator was for somebody to come by with a ship and shoot
Yes.
it from the ship.
I am a big fan of that ship, I must say. That was like one of the few things I thought was really cool about episode 1 were those
Oh
Naboo
yeah,
ships.
the Naboo starfighters.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, those things were cool.
Yeah, I like the design of the ship. I do kind of wonder like he can't like be a bounty hunter with that ship though because you can't transport anybody in it. It's a one-seater.
That is the problem. Unless he can
Like
convert that like
the Razor Crest has a had a big old cargo hold that he could even freeze people in carbonite.
well, I don't think that he's doing much bounty hunting these days.
Yeah, I guess not. He was when we saw him in Book of Boba Fett.
He was, yeah, that's true. He didn't have the kid with him then though. He's got the kid
No,
now.
so the main thing that happened in Book of Boba Fett that we're picking up on at the start of this season is that because this sect of Mandos, it's like part of their religious belief that you never show people your face, that you never take your helmet off in front of other people. And Din has done so. He's basically excommunicated, and he has to like redeem himself by bathing in the holy lake of that they have on planet Mandalore. And everybody's like, well, Mandalore got glass. The lake is gone. You can't bathe in there anymore. You're fucked. And he's like, well, I'm going to go anyway.
Which is like, why hasn't anybody else done that? Like, just to check it out.
Yeah, yeah, you'd think somebody would, like, just stop by and, like, have a look around.
Like, this is your planet, bro. You had to have like a, what do you say, a Jawa give him some kryptonite?
He had, so his plan is, they believe that, like, the planet is radioactive, that the air is poison.
Yeah.
So he wants to get a droid in this episode so that he can bring it with him to the planet so that the droid can get out of the ship and inspect the air so that he doesn't have to do it himself and potentially die.
Right.
So
But it was like a Jawa or something. They gave him that little green piece of whatever.
yeah, it's a chunk of like the glassed surface or whatever.
Right. So if a Jawa's gonna go down there and do whatever, like,
Yeah,
let
yeah,
Mandalorian go check it out. Come on.
he's heard that people have been to Mandalore and brought stuff back, so he's like, well, I guess the air isn't poison then, huh? I better find out for myself.
Oh yeah, we're gonna see those space things.
Yeah, there are. This was established in the Rebels cartoon. There are whales that can survive in space, and they swim through hyperspace.
Of course they do.
Space whales.
Space whales.
The
Well, kind of
the cat
squid whales.
the cast of Rebels used the space whales to defeat Grand Admiral Thrawn, one of the most
Spoilers.
popular characters of the EU books.
Um, and I mean, come on, Dave Filoni has fun, doesn't he?
I guess so.
Like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm doing all this stuff. I'm doing this. I'm gonna put my space whales in this show just because, apparently, because we haven't seen them since. Um, they did Cad
So
Bane pretty well, though, don't you think?
yeah, they did all right with Cad Bane.
So,
I would have liked him to like join the season a little sooner, maybe.
oh yes, let's not talk about that. He was horribly short his appearance on that show.
Cad Bane is the reason that Boba Fett's helmet has that dent in the forehead. Because he
Oh
took the
really?
shot. He took the shot, but he was wearing the helmet, so he didn't die. And he shot Bane in the head, but Bane survived, and that's why he has like a cybernetic patch on his head in Book of Boba Fett.
Oh, see, I didn't know
But
any of this
that
shit.
but that never actually happened on screen. The episode didn't get made. There's only like animatic footage of it on YouTube. So how many people know that's why he's mad at him?
Yeah, I had no idea. That's
No, they
crazy.
could have just introduced him like one episode sooner and give him some fucking exposition.
Yeah, you do a
Uh,
flashback. A flashback would have been tight. They love
yes,
flashbacks
yes,
on that show.
actually showing it. Imagine that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. These guys, they look pretty cool.
Yeah, these space pirates. They are literally doing pirate voices.
They are. Yar, yar, I.
There's a little bit of Jack Sparrow in this fucking guy.
I think he says vast a few times.
He says a vast, that's true.
Yeah.
This guy, I don't understand why they can't just find the actual bar. Like, the school used to be a bar, we want to drink here.
Yeah.
It's not a bar anymore, just find the bar. Don't be a dick.
No, I want to drink now. Even if you hit Carl Weathers, Mandalorian's gonna blow your head off. What are you doing?
Also, he fought the Predator, dude.
You're right. What was I thinking? And Rocky. I mean, look at that outfit. It's like a Dark Souls boss.
this These robes are so wide his shoulders have shoulders. I appreciate someone in Star Wars who's like, fuck the Republic and fuck the Empire. We want to be an independent planet.
Yeah, yeah,
That's probably the position I would take.
yeah. Fuck everyone. I mean, that's not that surprising, Razor. It's pretty on brand. I
I don't like to be told what to do.
respect it. That's fair. You think they brought in Taika Waititi to do this, or they're just using old stuff?
um, I'd have to check if any of that was new lines or if it was all reused. Yeah, he directed the last episode of season 1, but it doesn't look like he's done any 2 or 3.
Oh, okay. It probably is just reused stuff. He wasn't saying anything particularly new there.
But is one of these guys the same little guy who was in episode 9, or is it just the same species?
Don't ask, dude. I don't know. That's supposed to be your thing. You know
I
all the lore always.
well, I don't look up stuff when it involves the sequel trilogy, all right?
All right, that's fair. I do enjoy all the puppets on this show.
Yes, yes, the puppet work is very impressive.
Yeah.
I enjoy really any time that any production goes back to the old ways and does things practical. I don't know if you even need a droid. All you really need is like a handheld, like
You would think, yeah.
just like a Geiger counter or like an air sniffer device. Pirate King.
Pirate King. A vast
Yeah,
Mandalorian.
like when we finally see this Pirate King, he's basically Swamp Thing.
He is. He's Space
Is
Thing.
a I'm sure he's a species that exists in the EU that I don't know, but
I assume everything is.
I've never seen a Swamp Thing in Star Wars before.
No, I have not either. I like his weird little stealth kill there.
I love the Western music in this show.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Mandalorian looks like the most cowboy of any Mandalorian.
Yeah, yeah, all the Western stuff. That's like my favorite thing about the show,
Yeah,
because
yeah,
like
yeah.
old Star Wars was also like it's like a 40s and 50s movie, but modernized. This is Westerns were also 40s and 50s. It's
It works much better on this show than it has a lot of the other Star Wars stuff.
fucking Swamp Thing.
Really, we're gonna see him again, right?
I mean, it would be weird if we didn't.
Yeah, it's a weird one-off to have all of a sudden this space pirate guy, this pirate king. Sorry, he's clearly Mando's on his shit list.
Yeah.
It's,
Is this really what you do all day, every day? Just sit in this chair and stare into space?
I think it is. She's being pretty.
You don't even
emo
have a
here.
TV. Like what?
Maybe this guy can like project some TV for her. This
Maybe.
droid guy.
Or maybe one of her droids told her there's a ship coming, and so she hurried into the room to sit just so in the chair and make it seem like this is what she does all day.
It's a toilet, a bed. It's like a futon. She can just like lay out right there.
Yeah, yeah. Maybe it is a little multi-purpose. It's wide enough you could lie across it.
Yeah, yeah. She doesn't have to. She doesn't have to go fucking do shit. He just sits here. All the
I'm
bills
just
are
saying
paid.
this seems like a really, really boring way to live.
I lost the dark saber. Like everybody left me. It sucks. Like her two friends or whatever that were in the previously on. I guess they. I guess they
Yeah,
left.
yeah, fucking Sasha Banks has abandoned her.
Oh damn, that was it already.
Yeah, that was it.
Let's watch
That was
this
episode
art.
1.
Let's see this turtle.
Yeah, yeah.
Turtle.
See, it's got it. I don't think it had a
Does.
shell, but it does have more of a snapping turtle beak. Yeah.
Hoytle's turtle power. Man, I like that ship. I do like that ship. It's not. You're right. It's not practical for a bounty hunter. but it's a cool ship.
Yeah, I mean, the, I always like looking at the credits because apparently one of the stunt guys, or one of the Mandos under the helmet, is Lateef Crowder, the capoeira guy. I always enjoy his work.
I don't know who he is.
He was in the live action Tekken as Eddie Gordo.
Dude, I don't remember that movie.
All
Come
right,
on.
well.
Oh God. All
Oh,
right.
do you remember the Mortal Kombat Rebirth? The
Yeah.
super edgy trailer that led to the Legacy web series.
Oh, the
He was
trailer. Yeah.
yeah, he was Dr. Baraka.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I mean, he did a good job. He did a
Yeah, I
good
mean,
job.